Hi guys, I'm Samantha. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my June 2018 wrap-up. The first book I read in June was Everless by Sarah Holland. I gave this book 2 stars. Yeah. So this book follows Jules, who lives in a place where time has been affixed to blood. So basically, if you want to pay for things, if you want to buy things, you have to drain your blood, get it made into blood iron, and then that's how you pay for things. Now, Jules' father is very sick, so she goes to work at Everless, the Lord's castle. While there, she uncovers some mysteries about when her and her father used to live there, who she is, and what her role in the Everless world is going to be. Now, I didn't particularly like this book. I thought that Jules was very, I'm just gonna say it, I thought she was stupid. She was very slow. I just didn't like her. She didn't have anything about her that made me want to root for her. I didn't care if something bad happened to her. I actually think that would have made the book more exciting. I don't know. She kept doing things and figuring things out that were obvious. Like, anybody could have figured them out. And it wasn't dramatic irony. Like, it wasn't supposed to be something the audience figured out, but she didn't. It just, I don't know. This is going to be a series, so I may read the second book if I hear some good things about it first, because maybe she'll wise up. I don't know. I really wanted to like it more than I did. The next book I read was A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and I gave this book a 3. Yes, you heard me correctly, a 3. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I get that people love it. If you don't know, A Darker Shade of Magic is about a man named Kel who can travel between the different Londons. There is Red London, which has magic. There's Grey London, that is kind of like normal London. There's White London, where the magic is slowly being drained, and then there's Black London, which no one talks about. Kel is a traveler. He travels from one London to another through portals that he is able to create on behalf of the Kingdom of Red London. This book was so hyped to me. Everyone said I should read it, everyone said I would love it, everyone said it was going to be right up my alley. However, it was very slow. It took me a long time to read. Nothing was grabbing my attention. I guess my biggest thing is that the conflict didn't seem great enough until the end. I have the second and the third one from a friend, but I really don't think I'm going to read them. If you think I should, please put a comment down below. The next book I read in June was Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl, and guys, I loved this book. This is not a book that I generally read, but I had heard so much about it that I just thought I had to pick it up, so I did. This book follows Beatrice, whose boyfriend died last year. The summer after her first year in college, she goes back to hang out with her old friends from high school. They get into an accident, and they end up in the Neverworld Wake, which is kind of like a limbo. From there, they have to work together to figure out what happened to her boyfriend and to decide which of them gets to leave the wake alive. I did a full review of this on my channel. I'll put it in the cards and in the description box below. It was just so good. It was so good. The twists kept coming. I didn't see any of them coming. Maybe if you're someone who reads suspense and thrillers, you would, but I did not. So I highly recommend this book. The next book I read in June was Weregirl by C.D. Bell. This book follows Nessa, a up-and-coming cross-country star who gets bitten by a werewolf and starts changing into one. While she's a werewolf, she ends up going on kind of like a quest to figure out what is going on in her town, which is only being kept alive because of corporate pollution. A lot of people got sick, so the corporation gave them a lot of money and then went bankrupt. So now she's figuring out all the fallout from that happening. I gave this a 4 star. It was a great werewolf story. The tropes that are normal in werewolf stories were present, but it was unique in the aspect of who it was that was bitten and how she was dealing with it, because she still was going to high school and she was still a big sister and a daughter and a friend, so she had to navigate all of that. The only reason I didn't give it a 5-star was because the conflict was more complicated than I thought was necessary. I felt like a simpler conflict would have made for more cohesive or longer lasting, like, of interest. Like, I'm not explaining myself well. I felt like the conflict was too complicated. If it would have been more streamlined, my interest would have been held longer in the book. There, I finally got it. Geez, Samantha, figure it out. The next book I read in June was Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. This book follows Mila, who is a witch, a Wiccan, and her friend Riley. Her friend Riley dies at the beginning of the book, along with 2 girls from the Mean Girl clique. Now, being a witch, Mila decides to raise them from the dead because everyone thinks that they committed suicide, and she just doesn't believe that that's the case. I picked this up for 2 reasons. One, Lala over at Books and Lala loved it, and another, it has teenage witches in it, which I think is really interesting because I myself identify as a Wiccan. Now, I don't believe that I have specially gifted magical powers, but it's more of a spiritual, religious type of deal for me. Lily Anderson referenced books that I read when I was a teenager to learn more about being a Wiccan, like Silver Ravenwolf's books, which I actually have, which I thought was super interesting. Now, she was taking that being Wiccan and giving them magical powers thing an interesting spin. I loved the characters. The humor was great. The friendship was beautiful. It really reminded me of friendships that I had when I was in high school. And I cared. I cared about all the characters, even the mean girls at the end who you realize aren't so mean. So I think Lily Anderson did a great job. 5 out of 5 for sure. And the last book I read in June was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This story follows Selena Sardathian, who is an assassin. She is taken out of the prison from which has been kept for the past year to fight in a competition to figure out who can become the king's champion. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. Now, interesting enough, when I finished it just a few days ago, I went on Goodreads to post my review. And lo and behold, there was a review from me from 2014. I had already read this book. Where have I been? Honestly. And back then I only gave it a 3. This time I gave it a 4. So there we go. I can't believe, I still can't believe that I had already read it. Like, honestly. I had already read it. Like, I don't know how I could have forgotten reading a book like this. Now, granted, it was 4 years ago and I read a lot of books, but still. Anyway, what I didn't like about it in 2014 was the love triangle, and I couldn't figure out if Selena was more of a princess or a badass. Now, in 2018, I still don't like the love triangle. I think it's stupid. I think it's unnecessary. But Selena is a badass. She uses her wiles and her feminine wit and her cleverness, and she's just a badass, and I love her. Just like I love all of Sarah J. Maas's characters. Like, obviously, yes, thank you. Those were the 6 books that I read in June. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, click on the links down below to see my full review of Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. Also, give a big thumbs up, like this video. It really helps out my channel. Also, comment down below if you've read any of these books. I'd love to chat with you there and see what your opinions of them were, especially my unpopular opinion on Darker Shade of Magic. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to grow this channel. I love doing this for you guys. And stay tuned for a new series that'll be coming up soon. Bye.